5 tips for you to improve your deck gameplay so you can become a better player and reach world's finest. Let's go right into it. So, tip number 1, you should build your deck thinking about your curve. What do I mean by that? Let's take a look at my Batman Aquaman deck right here. You guys can see that I'm running exactly 17, 15, and 8. Is this written in stone? Hell no. But it should serve as a guideline for you and not deviate a lot from this. 17, 15, and 8. Why? Because that way you won't be missing your drops. On bronzes, you'll be playing bronzes. On silvers, silvers, and golds, golds. Whenever you play the wrong recruit or action, that's going to be bad. That's not going to be impactful enough on the board and on the game. Your opponent will be able to take a lot of advantage of that. If you reach first gold and you play 2 bronzes and your opponent played a gold and a silver, you can come back, but odds are you're going to lose. So for you to have a consistent deck, you should be playing with a deck with a consistent curve. And that means something close to 17, 15, and 8. Maybe if it's a fast deck and you want to play less golds, sure, you could, but even with the most aggro decks, you shouldn't be running less than 4 golds. 4 should be your minimum. Let's go for tip number 2. Tip number 2 is card draw. You should aim for your deck to have some sort of card advantage. For instance, this deck right here, we have Favor of the Gods, draws you a card. Utility Belt, draws you a card. Alfred, draws you a card. Brenda can draw up to 5 cards, golds only, but it's a draw. The Chimp draws you a card. Question draws you a card. Bad Cycle draws you a card. So there are a lot of ways for you to be drawing cards and having card advantage over your opponent throughout the game. So take advantage of that. Play a faction that has some kind of card draw, or if not, some kind of card advantage. And what I mean by that, it's when you are playing a faction with no card draw, such as Anarchy, for instance, you won't have card advantage in the sense of card drawing, but you're going to have card advantage in the sense that you play 1 card and there are multiple cards in there. You have that with Sending the Clouds. You have that with Earthquake that can kill a lot of stuff at the same time. So that's another type of card advantage, when you can hit multiple stuff at the same time and remove that or deal damage to that. That's a way to have card advantage. And you can have that with any deck. Or you'll be drawing cards, or you'll be disrupting your opponent with 1 card, taking down 2 or even more cards. Like Tyranny Massacre, you can wipe the whole board. So it's going to be a 1 for 4 or 4 for 1. And that's going to be card advantage. You won't be drawing cards, but it was like you were leveling the game. Like you used 1 card and he drew 3 cards and he used all those 3 cards, and with 1 card you got back in the game. So that's the concept of card advantage and what you should be aiming when building your deck. So those are the first 2 tips. Tip number 1, have a good curve. Tip number 2, have some sort of card advantage, be in disruption or with card draw. So let's go for tip number 3. For tip number 3, go for card synergies. What do I mean by that? Let's go for my Storm deck, a meta staple, Batman Shazam. Does it have a lot of synergies? Well, let's see. Skits. Skits draws you a gold card, which is good by itself, but he also is an energy card that ready flashes, and he's free. So you play Skits and you ready flash. Not only that, you have Batman Leader. With Batman Leader and Utility Belt, you can grab what? You can grab the grapnel gun. And with the grapnel gun, you can pick up Skits again, play again, ready flash again, and deal more damage. So is that all? Well, we are playing a lot of cards like Skits, Utility Belt, gadgets that are free. Firestorm. Firestorm benefits greatly from playing a bunch of stuff in the same turn. It will deal a bunch of damage in the lane that he's in. Is there anything else? Yeah, Batmobile. Batmobile can deal a lot of damage if you played a lot of gadgets before. Mr. Terrific gets you a free card, Skits, or a boat in the case of Shazam. So that's a bunch of synergies that you gotta have in your deck so it functions properly. If you are casting a lot of actions like gadgets, like utility belt, like boats, Pedro is going to get huge. That's another synergy. Everything revolves around utilizing a lot of cards at the same turn, at the same time, and you benefit greatly from free cards. Let's build a deck around that. And whenever you create a gadget, John Dingo will trigger and will pop a little bit extra synergies right there. So everything works together. Batman with the gadgets, so on and so forth. So think about the synergies that are possible within your deck. Like Batman Aquaman, you will have the Blue Beetle package. Like Batman Ivy, you have the Blue Beetle package because of La Dama. So everything has to work together. Otherwise, your deck is going to be clunky and it's not going to work properly. Every time it's going to be thinking, oh, this is not feeling right. It doesn't feel right. When you think it doesn't feel right, it's because the deck's not built properly, or the curve's not correct, or you don't have enough card draw or card advantage, or your deck is not synergetic enough. So that's it for tip number 3. Let's go for tip number 4. For tip number 4, let's go for something extremely basic. The game gives you 100 seconds to take action. It doesn't mean that you have to take every time, every turn, all the time, 100 seconds. But take your time. Think it through your play. You don't have to rush it. Just think. What are you going to do? What's the first card you're going to play? What's the second card? I'm going to place my card in the back row, the front row, defending, not defending. That's a whole different concept that I'm going to treat on a more experienced kind of video later this week. But for now, just think. Take your time to just reflect what I'm going to do in this turn and then act accordingly. Finally, for tip number 5, it's almost a pro tip, like an advanced tip. Here's activations. You gotta know when you can and cannot activate your leaders. Those kind of mistakes lose games a lot. If you activate a leader and you shouldn't have, or you didn't activate and you should have, it's gonna cost you a lot of games. A lot of times you should be, well, I'm not gonna activate my leader this time, because next turn is going to be his first silver turn, and he probably is going to play Robin, and I have to have an answer. And what better thing to answer a Robin than my hero activation? I'm going to need something to pop that evade, so I'm going to save my hero activation for the next turn. Or on the contrary, maybe I should activate my leader this turn, so I can take an advantage that there is no blockers, then I could squeeze some extra damage. If I play this bad cycle, I'm going to squeeze that extra damage right here, right now. So knowing when you have or you have not to take action and activate your leader is a great tip to improve your gameplay, and it will for sure help you reach world's finest. That's it for my 5 tips for today. It's all targeted to beginner players, and if you like the video, like the content, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time, bye-bye.